Chills. Actual chills. Hey everyone, my name is Flinchy, or Flinchy Echo 21. Flinchy does music. Depending on where you found me, it's either going to be YouTube, Twitch, or God forbid my music on Spotify or on YouTube, because my music's kind of all over the place right now. So we're going to be talking about Monster Hunter's Proof of a Hero, because I have some thoughts about it. Let's get into it. Okay, so I've been playing Monster Hunter for about 20 years, since about 2004. I started out on the PS2 with the joystick controls, because gotta love those. And I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemy, because swinging around a greatsword was okay with that. I didn't mind that as much. It was every other weapon that kind of sucks, especially bowguns. Oh my god, that was awful. Any hoozles. So we're going to be talking about Proof of a Hero today, which is one of my favorite pieces of music. I have heard every version of it, and I've vaguely heard this version of Proof of a Hero, and I'm excited to see how it turns out and how it's going to shape up. All right, let's give it a listen. I'm going to give it a full playthrough once, and then we will play the, hang on one second. Up there it is. We're just going to give it a quick playthrough and see how it sounds and all that fun stuff. And then we're going to talk about it a little bit. Let's give it a listen. Just hearing everything build up. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit because it seemed like it was a little bit loud, at least according to my levels. I love how it resolves down. Ooh, and then it goes into this very tense bit. Ooh, chills. Actual chills. I've got goosebumps. Those bass runs. And then it pulls back. That's interesting. And then it starts to ramp back up. And it just stays like this. And then it comes in hard. And then it goes into the response. A little bit of call and response action in there with the trumpet. Fuck, that feels good. And credit to, who is it that uploaded it? Paniomi? I'm gonna totally butcher that. Or I'm totally butchering that name. But that's who actually uploaded this video. I'm gonna have to cut that out. So we're gonna turn autoplay off. So there's a lot to talk about in there. So basically, let's start from the beginning because it's really interesting. Because it's kind of cool how the whole piece revolves around a constant building of tension and then releasing. It's granted, most music structure is like that. It's constantly building that tension and then letting it resolve. But this version of Proof of a Hero doesn't resolve, like hardly at all. And just kind of leaves it open-ended, like the story's not over yet. And that's really neat. Let's go through it again and just kind of break it down and see what exactly is going on here. Coming in with the solitary strings. Sounding like it's major, but I think it's in a minor key. Da-da-da-da. Or, hear me out, it could be in Dorian. It could be in Dorian mode. I'm going to try not to go into music theory here. If people want to see a music theory video of this, just comment below and I might try to make a music lesson out of it for my boy Hitta. Or I can try to get my rhythm guitarist in to see what he thinks, because I don't have ear training. At least not much anyways. I can kind of identify like modes and keys and stuff, but I'm not the greatest at it. I don't have perfect pitch. I have relative pitch, but that's about all I got. So if music theory is something you guys want to hear about involving this particular piece, or pretty much anything, I do want to do a music theory breakdown of some Zelda music, Kingdom Hearts music, things like that. And I think that would be really cool to do. But anywho, let's keep listening. And then it all comes in like it's a grand adventure. And then it just pulls back to the solo violin and what I think could either be the low range on a viola or the high range of a cello. And now we're getting to the tempo bit. Here's some spiccato action going on with the strings, low register strings. It's just tense. Like, I'm gonna pause it again here. It feels like you're facing a world-ending threat. It feels like there's almost no hope and the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Like, you have to do this, otherwise all is lost. And that's why you hear the main motif going through is it's trying to build that feeling of angst, I guess is the best way I can describe it. It's almost uncertain. It's like it could go either way. You might lose. There's a very real chance that you're going to fail, that you're going to lose, that you're going to let the world down in this fight. And that's really interesting to me. And I mean, granted, I've beaten the game. I know everything involving the story. And it's really on point. but it's unstable as hell. And then I'll get into my next point here in a minute, but let's keep going. Those drums. It's like walking through. Okay, I hate to pause it again so soon, but honestly, it feels like you're walking through the valley of the shadow of death, as weird as that sounds. Whoops, I was clipping there for a minute. I really need to dial in the tuning on this interface a little bit more. I think, because, the random clipping kind of sucks. But hang on, let's give it a little bit more. Actually, why don't I just turn down the gain a little bit on my mic, and we'll turn it up a little bit because we want it to stay in the greens. We don't want to go into the yellows at all. I mean, on the interface itself, because otherwise it's just going to keep clipping randomly, but that's neither here nor there. Anywho, let's keep going. And then it just falls back to the oboe and harp. Really interesting choice of instrumentation there. And what this part feels to me is remorse. It feels like you just did something that you really did not want to do, but it had to be done. One of the big things about Monster Hunter, without getting too much into the story, is it talks a lot about like conservation of conservation and coexistence with these monsters. And that's a really fascinating choice, but I mean, it's par for the course for when you actually hear this version of Proof of a Hero, and it just hits so much harder in context with the story. It's really interesting, and it's like hard to explain, but like here it comes back into the main theme a little bit that we all know and love. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about how this part feels. So to me, this feels like we're finally able to stand by our convictions in what we're doing. We're coming to terms with the fact that what we just did had to be done, and now we're on to the next challenge, and we have to stand by that conviction. This screams conviction, and I love that. And that's all she wrote. God, I was raised I've been hunting and fishing my entire life. In real life. I did not actually mean to do that. And I learned how to hunt when I was a kid, and it's kind of just, this ties into conservation so much, and it really makes you think when you've been in those shoes of being a hunter. And when you have to do when you have to do something that is, how do I put this? I'm trying to find the words to describe this, because speaking as something who has eaten the things I've hunted, there there is a sense of remorse there. Like me, when I got my first deer, I didn't celebrate really. I felt bad. Like it's really, like, I didn't really celebrate that much. I mean, I was glad I got the deer, but also at the same time is like, that's a really heavy thing. And I think that the wild proof of a hero is trying to paint that picture of, there's a very heavy hand in everything you do. Every swing of your sword, every SAED you fire off with a charged blade, there's a huge weight behind every swing. And it feels like your hunter is kind of reconciling with that, but also it knows that your hunter knows that it's they're doing what needs to be done, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's a very important message in this. It's very interesting, especially because everything is sanctioned by the guild. Like the hunters guild has to sanction every single hunt, because again, conservation is a very important thing, especially in this franchise. Well, that's really neat to see how it all ties together, and it just leaves it so open ended. Like, the story's not done. Something bigger is yet to come, and I love that. Any hoozles, that's about all I got. I am excited to see where the rest of this game goes, and God, I can't wait for more. I want to see what comes out in the title updates and in the future DLC whenever that decides to crop its beautiful face. I've been having a blast with Wilds, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out, party people. Bye.